Hello, friends. It's so great to be here with you today. There's so much to talk about, and much of it is behind the scenes. But I was able to figure out a way to show you what I'm focused on. This chart today is for Tuesday, April 6th, and boy, it looks calm here, doesn't it? It sure does, and there's spaces of blue opening up here in the beta range of the human brain waves from 0 to 40 hertz here, specifically between 16 and 20. We have a big blue space opening, and it's fascinating because there's also kind of this blue line that's formed, and that blue line is formed by the absence of the technological effect, or the apparent absence. See right there? Yeah. At around 16 hertz, give or take, because you can see it slightly goes up and down like a modulation almost. I don't know what that means, but I'm thinking about it. And, there's just this incredible, gorgeous purples, magentas in the lower hertz. It's been going on for a little while now, while it's been quieter. These are absolutely gorgeous colors, and I've been thinking about the relationship between them and the technological effect, because it seems to highlight them for some reason. But they're just absolutely beautiful, and they feel wonderful. They feel really good. So this is the calmness going into the new year. And there was a couple things that I wanted to highlight. It's really fascinating. If you look at the numbers behind the chart, here we have the frequencies. And, it's really interesting if you look at just today how the pattern has shifted. And I think of the frequencies from a human standpoint, like what it means for us individually as human beings living in our human energy field, which comprises the energy of the physical body as well. But look how they've changed. You see how the green has actually expanded its range now, because it went into the 23s here. The highs are still about the same, but the range expanded. And the red here, which was in this very kind of traipsing about its own range up and down and with these big vertical movements, well, now it's restricted itself. It still has these very small vertical movements, but it's restricted itself to just a more narrow part of its range. Now the yellow, which also had some interesting vertical movements recently, has become very narrowed without the big movements, and the white is the least changed. It had been kind of in this happy little rounded waves, and those have just slightly restricted, right? The hills aren't as dramatic today. So how I look at the frequencies is then, with the white representing expanded energies, expanded dimensional states, even celestial energies, or highlighting what's active on the chart. The yellow representing, in my view, the astral, the fourth dimension, and the energies closest to the body that are non-physical. The red representing the deeper, denser energies that humans experience in the astral, on the positive and on the negative. So it could represent at one end the dark forces, but on the other end it could represent our inspired human passion. So, the interpretation depends on other things that are going on. And then the green representing the range of human experience, the pulse of humanity in general. That's what anecdotally I have determined. So basically, from a human perspective in general, we've deepened our range a little bit, our range of expression. The shadow forces within us have narrowed their ability to express today. But that also means our passion is a little bit pulled back. Okay. The astral is kind of at a, I'm thinking of those heart monitor charts where they're beeping and then they go, ooh, you know. The astral or the non-physical, there's just not a lot of action, which also means there's not as easy an attempt to reach us, it seems like, in the astral from non-physical entities. But also our emotions, our thoughts might be a little bit more fuzzy and less clear. I'll explain a little bit of that when we get into the qualities. And here's the, the sort of, I just always think of it as divine as a default. Just chugging along. So in the amplitudes, basically, they're just all super quiet, very low. There was this interesting spike here at about 17 here, particularly in the white. The others were just really quiet. And that coincided with, oopsie, that's not the right chart. Hold on, that's a hint for later. Okay, that coincided with this here. And I kind of felt like this was the divine at our backs, because just look at how beautiful the pattern is here in the high beta into the gamma. There are all sorts of patterns that form in these vertical lines, but this one is it's just so beautiful here with the blue and the green, and it feels so gentle. And also, see the transmission here, it's very long, and then and then very long. It has a more wide, gentle feel to it. And that corresponds with what's going on in the qualities. So this line is where the white peaked. And you see a little bit more white here. See how the line is doubled? That's because you're seeing both the technological effect and the natural resonance at the same time in the same-ish, in about the same spot. And it highlighted this aspect of the technological effect also, actually. Yeah, there's just, there's some beautiful colors here, and I felt like it was like the divine at our backs, supporting us. And then here's the quality, and the interesting thing here, they're all somewhat low, okay? And there's a little spike up in the red, so maybe there's a little boost to our passion, because not much seems to be going on. I put this more in terms of our human passion, because there's not a lot of what I would call tomfoolery present that would indicate a lot of activity by the dark forces necessarily, or the shadow forces operating through our own human selves. So to me, this looks like a little boost up in human passion. We have the divine, so we have the divine at our backs, a boost up in human passion, and then very low qualities. And I just wanted to show you a picture of how this expresses in energy, but to give you, in my view, in the human energy field, but I wanted to give you a visual to explain it. So, which are the pictures that I used for this? Okay, here we go. So here's a drop of water. And this is so cool, isn't it? It might be that actually that there already was a drop, and now this is a second drop coming. So, so when a drop goes into a pond or a body of water, the drop goes in, enters, and then you have, of course, the ripples that go outward. Okay, so what I wanted to show you was the drop is like, so I'm relating it to the human energy field, okay, how this expresses. The drop is like the aspect of the divine that we are, okay? So let me use the sun heart for this, okay? The human being the child of the Creator, okay? With the spark of divinity lit within the soul of the human being that lives within the human body, one-to-one, physical and soul, right? So combined, okay? And when we start to activate and access this, we connect with our soul, we connect with God, and we, as we grow into this relationship, we become able to co-create with the divine in our lives by one-to-one, consciously making choices, consciously choosing to express divine will through us, to the best of our ability. And that's guided by our conscience, guided by our intuition. It's guided by the impulse of the soul, which really has no words, no feelings, but it can come through and express as emotions. It can come through and express as thoughts. And developing the discernment to understand what is a human emotion and what is an impulse of the divine through us. Now that's where the juice is. So anyway, let's get back to talking about the quality. So here we are, okay? So here's the drop of, the creator, right, that I am, right, in my living human experience, okay? So I'm going to use this whole image to reflect my living human experience, okay? But here's the drop. It's hovering above, okay? So I know that I am that flame of the creator, that drop of the creator within me, okay? Sometimes I can feel it, and sometimes I may be disconnected from it. Depends kind of on a number of things, right, for an individual. But rather than going into that, what I want to do is explain the quality connection here. So when the qualities are low, it would be like, I'm going to relate this to sound. So when the qualities are low, it would be like a sound that is distorted, right? Where the sound is very wide over a range of frequencies. The pure essence of that tone, of that sound, can't truly be heard because there's a multiple range of notes, if you will, that sound is being spread over in the distortion, okay? Now that's an example, connecting it back to this in layman's terms, of a low quality, okay, where the true essence of this frequency isn't quite clear to us, okay? So now I'm going to relate that in this picture to the water drop, okay? Here is the pure essence, all right? That drop of water contains the pure essence of the energy that I am. Okay, let's say that. Now, a drop of this is already in my body, represented by the water body. Okay, but can I feel it? Can I know what this true essence is? Well, in this picture, the water drop has already rippled out many times. Okay, so just like a distorted music note, it is over a wide range of area, right, in the water body here. See? It's got all these 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, like the rings on the tree, right? We could count them. There's been many, many evolutions of the wave rippling outward. And so if I'm in a low quality, okay, it's like I'm experiencing all of this, okay, all of this. In the moment, I'm experiencing all of these. The lower the quality, the more of sort of the ripples, okay, that it's like I'm experiencing them all at one time, okay? It's simply a measure of clearness, okay? So the perfect clearness would be knowing this drop intimately, okay, the soul that I am. That's my true essence as a human being expressed in form, right? So now, so this would be an example of a low quality. We are spread out, right, over a lot of area. We're spread out over a range of experiences, over a range of tones within our personal experience set. A range of points of that experience. That could be a range of thoughts, a range of emotions, okay? Even a range of actual experiences. And that's where we're in at the chart right now, okay? Because we got these low qualities. Whew. Now, what does it mean when the qualities are high? Let's go back to that water example. This is so cool. Ready? Ta-da! Isn't this awesome? I mean, what a brilliant job the photographer did with this image. But basically, you see, he caught it right here, the very first drop in a very still body of water, right? So I'm gonna, if I am fully connected, right? I'm in stillness, pure clarity. Like, look how beautiful this is. So the drop of water representing the soul that I am drops into the body of water here, okay, representing my human experience. And look what it does. It forms a little person. With like arms, and it looks like he's doing something, moving energy, he or she. Isn't that incredible? It almost looks like an angel in some ways, doesn't it? It's just an incredible photo. This would be like a very high quality in this example, okay, of using layman's terms, because why not? That's who I'm speaking to, just us regular folk. And so here you go, right? This person now perceives, they have a moment of clarity. Boom, that's it. This is what I am about, or this is what I'm going to do, or this is what I truly feel, or whoa, I just crystallized this amazing insight, okay? High clarity. Woo, feels so good. Look at it. But that's not where we are right now on the chart, okay? Right now on the chart, this is where we are, okay? That ball is hovering. Right now we're not in general, okay? Because individually, of course, we're always connected with our souls. In my view, it's the life force that we are. So there's no way not to be connected with God, with the soul. But right now we're really spread out, okay? We're really spread out. It's like we are musing. And I'd say that this is a time for musing, okay? A time for musing. I gotta write that down because that's cool. It's a time for musing as we are in the final days of a very long set of cycles, and as we are sort of in a sacred process of preparing for the new year, the new natural year, starting in the spring in April. And it looks like we're considering a range of options.